Alicia from Justice and Infinity. Justice and Infinity is a company who believes in sustainable growth and sustainable living and green living and all those good things that allow us to live our lives as the Creator has intended us to. So, how did we come about? In 2019, I was talking to my husband about him and I starting our own company. At the time that we started these conversations, we were still college students. I was working on my master's degree in regional planning with environmental land use as my focus, and he was working on his business healthcare management degree, his bachelor's degree. And we decided that, since we were at the end of our college careers, one thing that we did want to do was start working on building our own business. We wanted to start working on building our own business. So we started the process by, number one, researching, trying to get our website together, and purchasing little production, like bottles, jars, things to produce these products. We started to purchase those. When we were getting ready to launch, I wanted to launch in March of 2020. We were going to launch 2 weeks in March before my birthday. At the same time that this was happening and we were getting ready for we wanted to have like a launch party, and that was going to be us renting out a venue and doing all these different things. As soon as we got ready for that, so anyway, the business is on hold in a way because nobody's shipping anything out. A lot of people are losing their jobs. At that point, COVID funding had not really been established yet. And it just put everything on hold. It just put everything on hold. When eventually I started thinking about trying to pick up everything we had left off, and one of the things that I had wanted to do with my business was open up a community garden. So we have a LLC. In addition to having an LLC where we're producing products, we wanted the urban farm. And on that urban farm, the products would be an extension of the urban farm. The farm would be free for people to use. The farm would be welcome community members. There'd be a lot of free community programs, but the products would be for sale. And I wouldn't be the first one doing a model like that. I had seen other people do similar things. This camera looks so bright. I'm trying to position it right. Hopefully that looks okay. I had seen other people do similar things, so I didn't think I was doing anything that was like super duper unique. But at the end of the day, there's also only one me, so nobody's bringing to the table exactly what I'm bringing to the table because nobody is me, right? So so I started looking for land. It's going to be a community program built by a community member for community purposes. And eventually I come across a land bank. And I'm looking at the property, and I find one has this beautiful willow tree, as y'all can see in this picture, this video. Beautiful willow tree. The garden, the urban farm, was supposed to be a learning experience that taught me what needed to happen in order to tap into the city's water main and get the water connected on the land. What needed to happen in order for an electrician to come out and connect electricity to just the small office that was being built. What needed to happen for a fence to be put up on the land. It was really supposed to be a learning experience. I never thought that I would get filthy rich off of creating an urban farm, even though there is still a lot of things that you can do to, you can't listen to people. Like, people will tell you, oh, you shouldn't be doing, like, we literally have people calling us up telling us that we were wasting our time by wanting to implement an urban farm, not knowing the research behind it, never had done it themselves, but wanted to give us advice on opening a business, and they had no businesses that were successful of their own, right? You have never done it. So one thing about me that I love about myself is that I pride myself on my ability to be quiet when I don't have the proper knowledge and advice to give people, because I'm unskilled and unequipped in that area. I don't say anything. That's the case. So anyway, as y'all can see, I was so excited. I recorded a couple of TikTok videos, and this first video you see was my husband hiring a quote-unquote family friend to help us build our fence. He came out, he pretended like he knew exactly what he was doing. He ended up causing full chaos for us. He wasn't the one doing the work as he promised. He had his quote-unquote employees doing the work. They were falling all over the land. And I said to my husband, I'm like, I thought it was going to be you and him doing this project. Who are all these people? I don't want them here. Like, send them home. So, you know, he continues doing the work. So lazy and so tired, he spaces the posts 20 feet apart. Every contractor that I had spoken to told me that the furthest that space should be is 12 feet apart. So he spaced them 20 feet apart, and we're left with the option of trying to find somebody else to go over his work, because he was unwilling to come out and fix anything. And then on top of that, he stole lumber from us and he stole tools from us. He was just like moving on demon time heavy. I had never seen somebody claim to be somebody's family friend and then completely take advantage of their family member that way. But he sent me a text and he's like, you know, I was doing this for your husband as a family favor, and he didn't even know that I didn't want him on the land. I said to him, I texted him back and I'm like, well, first of all, this is why I told my husband that you don't mix family and business, right? Because I didn't want you there. My husband hired you. I didn't hire you. It's just, I was doing my best to allow my husband to go through a natural learning experience, even if it meant moving in spite of my own intuition. Intuition was just very wary about him. After I had heard him say certain things that just didn't sound correct to me, which I won't go into. Then we were unable to find anybody to go over this man's work without charging us an arm and a leg in order to go over his work. I kind of give up. I have a lot of personal things going on. My dad had just had a stroke, and my focus is different at this point. So I tell my husband, you know, whatever, you can handle whatever. Just make sure we get somebody who has common sense, who knows what they're doing, who can show their portfolio, who can prove that they have a license, who's insured, whatever. So we start looking for people. And I guess y'all see me close my eyes. I'm thinking, I'm so tired of this story. That is incredible. I'm so tired of reliving and replaying the story. But my husband finds somebody who happens to be our neighbor, and he quote unquote heard us talking, and he just wants to help, and he has the skills, and he's been a contractor, and he showed us a portfolio, and my husband ended up deciding to work with him. He was telling us about his plan of using pallets to build a fence. So I'm like, no, I don't really know if that's legal. I have no problem going down to Lowe's and Home Depot to, get what's needed in order for me to make sure that once we do this, we don't have to do it again. He's like, oh, you're wasting your money. I'm a contractor. I know what I'm talking about. I promise you that it's not illegal to use what is that, pallets, because it's wood, da 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 da. He swears up and down that he knows all the rules. This man came out here and played on that property. He was doing some type of weird Bob the Builder bull BS that I had never seen anybody done before. I'm going to insert this picture. This picture is plywood that he put on the fence. He was going out to dumpsters and dump yards and getting his own material, putting it in his car, and then charging us for him picking up the material, coming to the door random times a day asking for $20, claiming that he has to go pick something up for our property. And it was just a whole entire strange circus wreck. Okay. So that plywood was one of the reasons why we had an issue. He was doing random stuff on the property without running it by us, doing his own thing, and it started to draw the attention of building codes. When building codes started to reach out to us, that's when I started to let him know, like, hey, listen, you got to take these things down. It's my property, my project, but he's doing what he wants to do. There was even a point in time where he had asked me, like, hey, is it cool if I build a playhouse for my kids? Because I know that they would have fun, so much fun, being able to have a playhouse of their own. And I'm just looking at him like, no, that's not what we asked you to do. That's not why you're here. And then he started talking about how he's going to go viral. How he's going to go viral once everybody on TikTok sees that he built the fence out of pallets. Like, it was like he was making it completely about him. And I was just growing frustrated with him. But again, like I said, I was focused on other things. I had just started writing my book. That's the cover in the background. My husband got that made for me. The book Healing Through Love, I was working on that, and I was dealing with family issues. And at some point within the project, I had 2 people pass away, which is my dad, who I was very, very close to. He passed away a week after my birthday. And then before that, prior to that, in January, 2 weeks before my anniversary, my brother passed away. The year prior to that, my husband had lost 2 people as well. So we're both dealing with what is known as complicated grief, not just regular grief. There's a difference between regular grief and complicated grief. We're dealing with complicated grief. And in the midst of dealing with this, the quote unquote friend who came to help my husband rebuild gets into a fiasco with me because I came out and told him that we're going to finish up the work. We were not fond of his work. I don't like what he was doing. He was taking too many breaks, that it shouldn't take 3 months to build a fence, and that we were going to go ahead and finish the project ourselves. He sends me text messages about how we're working unsafe, how we're not following this rule and that rule and da 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 da. And so we just ignore it and we just continue to start working. We call him up to let him know that he no longer has to come out and he has like a full emotional break and